Hey, what's up, you guys? WWE fan 0599 here again. And welcome back to WWE Fans TV Recap Show. And today's recap show will be for the Muppets. So yes, we are going to review this week's episode of the Muppets. And this week's episode is entitled Pigs Don't Cry. Now, before we get into this episode, I just want really quick spoiler warning. There will be spoilers. I don't think there's really much to spoil, but just in case, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers in this review. So yeah. So, this episode is basically about, Kermit, he produces Miss Piggy's show, even though they're not together anymore. He still produces her show, and when he wants Elizabeth Banks on the show as the first guest, Miss Piggy, for some reason, isn't cool with this. She's like, no, I don't want her on. And also on a side plot, Fozzie wants to meet his girlfriend's parents, and let's just say it just doesn't go well. So yeah. So what did I think of this episode? I loved this episode. This episode was fantastic. This is how you do the Muppets, and kind of a new take, this is not really for kids. I'm going to say this, sure, kids can watch it, but there's going to be jokes in here that kids are not going to get at all. Like, this is more new inventive Muppets, I will say. It's a new, more improved, new and inventive Muppets, and I like this. This is awesome, so yeah. So let's get into my positives, and my positives are the comedy. The comedy in this is so funny. I think one of the funniest times I've had watching a show in a very long time. It's so funny. The jokes in this are so funny. I mean, the one joke towards the beginning, when the guy's like, oh, it's a meeting. He's like, oh, okay. My name is, and he's like, oh, no, it's not that type of meeting. Oh, okay. What? No, that was so funny. That was the best joke in the entire episode. That was so funny. That was just hilarious. I just thought it was so funny. The jokes worked 100%. The jokes worked perfectly with this. It was so great. So yeah. The writing with this episode, the writing is fantastic. I love the writing with this episode. It was great. Some spot-on writing with this episode, so yeah. The acting was really good in this episode. I really thought the acting was good with this episode. The acting was good, so yeah, nice directing, actually. This is supposed to be in the directions of, like, Parks and Rec in the office, where it's like we take a look inside of these guys' everyday lives, and it's funny. It is so funny seeing what they do in their everyday lives. That was really good. I really liked seeing that. That was funny. I liked seeing, like I said, I like seeing what happens in their everyday lives, because it's funny and it's really enjoyable to see on screen. And, just the moments in this episode when, like I said, when Fozzie meets the girl's parents, it is funny as can be, because they're just like, you can say it, he's a bear. And it's, the father is just like, oh my goodness, my daughter's dating a bear. And it's funny to see on screen, and it creates really awkwardness, but it's funny at the same time, and I really enjoyed that. That was really good. I mean, when Kermit gets Elizabeth Banks on the show, and she comes over to the studio, and Kermit doesn't want her to, because she's afraid Miss Piggy will see her, and when not Walter, but I forgot his name, but he has to take Elizabeth Banks out on a run, like, touring around Hollywood, and then they fight each other. It was so funny. That was really enjoyable. I thought that was funny as well. And then, when you get to the reason why Miss Piggy and Kermit broke up, and the reason that Miss Piggy doesn't like Elizabeth Banks is because they broke up at the premiere of Pitch Perfect 2. another reason for me to not like Pitch Perfect 2. It beat Mad Max Fury Road at the box office, and it broke up Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. There. So yeah, that was just funny. I thought that was a hilarious reason why they broke up. So yeah. My only problem with the episode, I do have one problem with the episode, and it's mostly for the show in general. It's just, I'm still not bought on this whole thing of Miss Piggy and Kermit breaking up, because I just feel like they're gonna get back together, and it's just gonna be that cliche thing, they're broken up, but then they're gonna get back together. I just don't really like this, and I don't think it's gonna last long, so, but that's really my only problem with this episode. But besides that, this episode is hilarious. This episode was fantastic. I don't know how episode 2 is going to top this. We got to see this Tuesday, because episode 2 has got to find something. So yeah. So overall, this episode was fantastic. An awesome episode. So yeah. So it's time for my official grade on this episode. And my official grade on this episode is an A. I love this episode. Such a hilarious episode. I loved it. So it's definitely getting an A. So what do you guys think of this week's episode of The Muppets? Leave in the comment section below. I'm WWE Fan 0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.